I saw Coltrane in Montreal in 1963 with his classic quartet. He came and played at a club, and I was there for most of the nights of the week. And I had never heard music. I'd been listening to jazz, and I was just starting to play the guitar. And I'd been listening to jazz, but I'd never heard music quite that powerful or that focused. It was around the time it was just before the Live at Birdland record came out, I think. And he was playing the tunes from that record. And I remember he was playing, on that record he plays I Want to Talk About You, the ballad with the long, long cadenza. He was doing that every night, playing that tune. And the cadenza would be longer than the tune itself, the part the band played. And he would, during the piano solos, he'd go backstage with his horn and he'd practice during the piano solos. And then he'd go backstage and practice during the break, You could hear this tenor coming from the back. It was just, I'd never seen such, dedication. And it just made me take the music a lot more seriously. I was very fortunate in that I could hear these. I saw Wes Montgomery in the same situation. He came up for a week with that great band he had with Harold Mayburn and Jimmy Lovelace and Arthur Harper. And I saw them probably every night for a week. And I was knocked out with Wes. Not so much the guitaristic stuff that, people were excited about the octaves and the block chords, but the overall power and depth of the music that came out. I mean, of course, we were, knocked out with the thumb and all of that, but just the overall power and depth of the music was phenomenal. So I was very lucky to have seen some of these people, and seeing these masters in action just made me really want to get serious about playing the music. But that intensity and depth is there on the records. Well, some of them, if all you've heard is A Day in the Life, then you're not going to hear that. But if you go back to the Riverside recordings, there's a record called The Incredible Jazz Guitar on Riverside, which is, boy, it's all there. The half-note recordings, the live recordings. It's there on the record, but maybe it's not there quite as much as seeing them live. I was very fortunate in that. I saw Miles with Hank Mobley and J.J. Johnson, Wynton Kelly, Paul Chambers, and Jimmy Cobb. Saw them a couple of times. I had a chance to see Jimmy Heath. Came up to Montreal and did a gig with a local rhythm section. And I remember, it was interesting, because as I say, I was just sort of starting to figure it out then. And I remember they came off the bandstand, and I asked Jimmy Heath, as he walked by my table, I asked him something about one of the tunes that he played. And he turned around and went back up onto the stage and got the music and brought it down to the table and showed it to me and kind of explained it. And that's how you learned in those days, I said, Mr. Heath, what was that tune? How did that, And he said, oh, just a minute, and got the music and brought it down to the table and showed it to me. I mean, that's how you had to learn that way, in those days. Yeah, I'm talking about 1963, 1965. And this is the stuff that really made an impression on me. And I would, go home, and I think I was still living in my parents' house, and I would go down in the basement and just, spend all day trying to figure it out, listening to records and trying to transcribe the stuff and figure it out, play it along with the records.